What if you were trying to send money to a friend, but you didn't want to use a bank or any middleman? How would you do it? You're sitting at a coffee shop, wanting to send some cash to a friend who's traveling abroad, and you don't want to deal with transfer fees or wait for days for the money to arrive. You start thinking, is there a way to send money directly without anyone in the middle taking a cut or controlling the process? And that's where Bitcoin comes in. Imagine you're using a digital version of cash, where you can send it directly to your friend's digital wallet without needing a bank or any intermediary. This digital cash is called Bitcoin, and it's been around since 2009. But here's the surprising part. Bitcoin isn't just a new type of money. It's a whole new way of thinking about how money works using a technology called blockchain. And that's what we're going to explore in this video. How Bitcoin actually works in simple terms. You'll finally understand the mechanics behind this digital currency and how it's changing the way we think about money. To get started, let's dive into the basics of Bitcoin and see how it can be used to send money directly without any middlemen. What if you could see every single transaction that's ever happened with Bitcoin laid out in a transparent and unalterable record? You're about to discover that Bitcoin's core is a public ledger called the blockchain, where all transactions are recorded in a chain of blocks. Think of it like a digital bookkeeping system, where each block is like a page in the book filled with a list of transactions. And here's the surprising part. It's maintained by a network of computers around the world, not a single central authority. You're essentially looking at a global, decentralized accounting system, where thousands of computers are working together to verify and record transactions. This network is made up of specialized computers called nodes, which work together to validate transactions and add them to the blockchain. As you delve deeper, you'll start to see how this decentralized system is what gives Bitcoin its unique characteristics, like security and transparency. Now, you might be wondering how this network of computers agrees on what transactions are valid, and that's a crucial part of understanding how Bitcoin actually works. Vocabulary, blockchain, decentralized, nodes, transactions. What happens when you want to send Bitcoin to a friend? How does the transaction actually work? Let's break it down. You're sitting at your computer and you want to send some Bitcoin to a friend who's also into crypto. You open up your Bitcoin wallet, enter your friend's Bitcoin address, and the amount you want to send. But here's the part most people don't know. Before the transaction can happen, you need to sign it with your private key. Think of your private key like a super secure digital fingerprint. It's unique to you and you alone, and it's what proves that you're the owner of the Bitcoin you're trying to send. When you sign the transaction with your private key, you're essentially saying, yes, I'm the owner of this Bitcoin, and I want to send it to my friend. And then the transaction gets broadcast to the entire Bitcoin network. It's like sending a message to a huge, decentralized email list. The transaction is verified by special computers called nodes, which check to make sure that the transaction is valid and that you actually have the Bitcoin you're trying to send. It's a pretty clever system, and it's what allows Bitcoin to work without the need for a central authority. And here's the surprising part. All of this happens in a matter of minutes, and it's what makes Bitcoin so fast and secure. Now that you understand how transactions work, you can start to see how the whole Bitcoin system fits together. Want to learn more about how Bitcoin actually works? Vocabulary, cryptocurrency, blockchain, decentralized, fingerprint. You're sitting at your desk, wondering how all these Bitcoin transactions get validated and added to the blockchain. And that's where mining comes in, a process that's pretty fascinating once you understand it. Imagine you're trying to solve a really complex math puzzle, and you're competing with thousands of other people to be the first one to crack it. That's basically what Bitcoin mining is, but instead of using pen and paper, miners use powerful computers that can perform billions of calculations per second. And here's the surprising part. The puzzle itself is designed to be really hard to solve, but easy to verify. So once someone solves it, they can show the answer to everyone else and prove that they did it first. The first miner to solve the puzzle gets to add a new block of transactions to the blockchain. And as an incentive, they're rewarded with brand new Bitcoins. It's like finding a treasure chest filled with digital gold. This reward is what motivates miners to keep solving these puzzles, which in turn helps to secure the entire Bitcoin network. And that's the key to understanding how Bitcoin actually works. Now that you know how transactions are validated, you're probably wondering how the whole network stays secure. And that's what we'll explore next. Vocabulary, blockchain, mining, Transactions, cryptocurrency. You're probably curious about how you store and manage your Bitcoins. That's where digital wallets come in. Think of a digital wallet like a virtual bank account, but instead of storing traditional currency, it stores your Bitcoins. These wallets are essentially software programs that store your private keys, which are crucial for accessing and spending your Bitcoins. You can think of your private key like a super long, unique password that unlocks your Bitcoin wallet. Just like how you need a password to access your email or online banking, your private key is what proves you own a particular Bitcoin address and allows you to make transactions. Here's the surprising part. Your wallet doesn't actually store your Bitcoins. It stores the private keys that allow you to access and transfer the Bitcoins associated with your address on the blockchain. And just like how you can have multiple email addresses, you can have multiple Bitcoin addresses, each with its own private key. This is what makes it possible to manage and secure your Bitcoins, and it's an important part of understanding how Bitcoin actually works. Now that you know how wallets and keys work, you're one step closer to understanding the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. To learn more about how it all fits together, keep watching. Vocabulary: blockchain, cryptocurrency, encryption, decentralized. So now you have a clear understanding of how Bitcoin actually works. Let's wrap up your journey by putting everything together. Remember, you started with the question, how does Bitcoin really work? Well, let's break it down. First off, the blockchain is like a giant public ledger that everyone can see. Every time someone sends or receives Bitcoin, they create a new entry in this ledger. These entries are called transactions. Imagine each transaction as a page in an enormous book where every change to your piggy bank balance gets recorded. Now, these transactions aren't just floating around. They're bundled into something called blocks. Miners are the heroes who take these blocks and verify their legitimacy by solving complex puzzles. Once verified, the block is added to the blockchain, much like adding a new page to our never-ending book of transactions. With so many people verifying and recording every transaction, you can be sure that Bitcoin is secure. It's as if everyone in the world is double-checking your piggy bank, but instead of just one or two people, it's literally thousands. And then there are wallets. These are like digital piggy banks where you keep your Bitcoin safe. Every wallet has a unique key, a bit like a secret password, that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin. The keys come in public, which anyone can see, and private, which only you should know. So, armed with this knowledge, you're not just a passive observer anymore in the world of cryptocurrency. You understand what's happening behind the scenes, how transactions are made, verified, and recorded. And that's incredibly powerful. But here's the surprising part. This knowledge isn't limited to Bitcoin. It can be applied to other cryptocurrencies as well. Understanding the blockchain is like learning a new language that opens up a whole world of possibilities. The underlying principles are similar across different cryptocurrencies. So once you get the hang of how one works, the rest fall into place. And if you want to dive deeper into more complex topics like markets and trading, consider subscribing for even more educational content. If you'll never look at planes, or in this case, cryptocurrency, the same way again, you know what to do.